Okay, folks, here's chapter 13. We're still camping. So let's get right to it. Get to share my screen. And go right to here. Good. Okay, now let me try and select this bigger, right? Because once again, these are not in the answered text. So I'm going to just, these are pictures of what is in the chapter 13 workbook. And let's just kind of go through here. I'm not going to do the other ones in the exercises because the answers are there. And in the interest of time, I'll just do the Bible translations, which of course you also do have the answers since they're there. So, and actually looks like I looked through most of these and they are pretty much directly the Hebrew pulled from them. And then you might, I would recommend doing it and seeing the difference of how translators, whether you use the NRSV, the NIV, or any other translation, just kind of see how the differences are. And just one quick just reminder that this is the verse in the Masoretic text of the Hebrew Bible. So when you look this up in the Hebrew Bible in the Masoretic text, this is Psalm 47:9. However, in English versions, it is Psalm 47:8. And there's a reason for that I can't remember right now, but Susanna can tell you. Okay. So just remember that when you look up Psalm 47, this is not 47:9. This is an English version, Psalm 47:8. Okay, so let's get to it. Malach Elohim al Goyim. Elohim Yashav al Kisei Kodsho. Okay, that's kind of now. So now let me just say here again, Kodsho. Why is that instead of Kadesho? Of course, we have Kadosh. Kadosh is Kadash, Kodesh, Kodesh. Well, Kadosh is holiness. Kadash is holy. Well, this is the adjective, and now I'm kind of showing you at the moment. I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, which one's which? But we do know, again, when you see a kametz followed by a shwa, it almost certainly is a kametz hatuf, because that, and unless it is stressed. Now, if it's stressed, then it would be kadasho. This was kadasho, okay? But it's not, it's kadsho, okay? So kodsho, that's kametz hatuf. That's an O class valve, a short O class valve. Remember, that's why it's very important when you learn the paradigms, which I strongly do urge you to learn them, as Miles Van Pelt says in his videos, like a robot. I recommend that because it will be extremely helpful for you in all your future reading, especially as we begin to move into weak verbs and into all different kinds of verbal forms. The book itself is set up to give you diagnostic clues to help you be able to identify forms. It is not a book of memorizing form to form, but you do have to memorize both the call, perfect and imperfect. So what brought me to that, remember in the second, third person, feminine, singular, and in the first person, common plural. Third person, common plural. Let's go back to it. Third person, feminine, singular. Third person, common plural. Okay. The third person masculine singular of katal is katal. Okay. It is in the third person feminine singular is katala. Okay. It is not kotla. Okay. Now there is a kametz under the kof, and under the tet there is a schwa. But remember, when you're learning the forms, that in those two persons, in the call perfect, There's a metheg. It's that little line. I don't know if we have it here, and I don't have it. So go back and look in your book. Let's look, especially look at the third common plural, katolu, they killed. Okay, there's a comets, and then right to its left is a little straight line that is a metheg that shows that this is a comets. So therefore, this is a comets, a long vowel. So the schwa that's under the tet is a vocal schwa. Schwas after long vowels are vocal. Schwas after short vowels are silent. Okay. But here now, going back, there's no metheg there. There's none of that little right there. So we know that this is code show. All right. Now let's get back to the verbs, but I always kind of want to point out the comets hatuf. Okay. Now, Melech is the king, so Malach, comets, and Patak. Okay. Here is the third masculine singular call perfect of Malach, to reign, to be king. And who is reigning to be king? Elohim. Remember, Elohim is a plural form. This is one of the main words for God in the Old Testament. Adonai, the tetragrammaton, is the Lord. This is God, and even though it is in a plural form, Herek Yod Mem, it takes a singular verb. So Malach Elohim, the Lord has reigned, the Lord reigned, ruled, al goyim, okay, upon over goyim, nations, peoples. I have to look that up. This should be, if you'll notice, al goyim, that's it. There is no ha. This would therefore be, it should be, strictly speaking, indefinite. The Lord has reigned over nations, okay, over peoples. But I bet it's the Lord has reigned over the nations. The Lord ruled over the nations. And again, once you start getting into the Psalms and into poetry, all bets are off. So but for here, let's just say the Lord reigned over nations. Now, and I think there is no Vav here, but we got now Elohim Yashav. So I suspect that what we have is therefore, and the Lord, Elohim, okay, Yashav al Kisei Kodsho. The Lord sat, or to dwell or to sit, but this is a kisei that is throne or a seat on this whole. And again, this would be kodsho. I think we're going to be saying this is a holy seat, holy throne, and it is. There is that whole involved, so that is the third masculine singular pronominal suffix. His holy throne, over his holy throne, the Lord sat over upon, probably the Lord sat upon his holy throne, or the Lord's, or God sat, God, not the Lord, God sat upon God's holy throne. Okay. Malach, Yashav, both call perfect, third masculine singular. All right. Batachti b'chesed Elohim olam. Batachti b'chesed Elohim olam. Again, this is not a batach. This is a word for trust. That is not. There's a third chet. That is not a strong verb, but who cares? We're just trying to learn the forms, okay? So, but the form is the same here. Batachti, okay? Yeah, but no, excuse me. I'm not batachti. Forgive me. Remember, it is gatalti, batachti. So it's batachti. I was wrong, not batachti, batachti. It's gatal, katala, gatalta, gatalt, catalti. Okay, so batachti. So you're supposed to remember that. They usually have their little thing there, but I guess they're just not doing it since it's directly from the Bible. So batachti, I trusted, I have trusted. I think they'll read in the Psalms that it says I trust, but we're here. This is a call, perfect form, first person, common singular. Doesn't matter whether it's male or female. So I trusted. B'chesed, chesed, there's a segolet, so it's usually pronounced, the stress is on the first syllable. So b'chesed in Elohim, okay, that is a proper name. So it would be in the loving kindness. Chesed is lots of ways you can say it. I just always remember loving kindness of God. So this would be in, again, b'chesed, and this is in the construct form, and this is the absolute in the loving kindness of God, and olam is forever. So I have trusted in the loving kindness of God forever. And again, the tav and herik yod, that is the first common singular sufformative, the suffix that is always, when you see that T like that with a verb, you are looking at, you're almost certainly looking at a first common singular. Okay. Ze, yadati, yadati, again, because the T, so we stress it here. Ze, yadati, ki, Elohim li. This thing, or it's the masculine singular, ze, this thing, yadati. Now this one, remember, for verbs of perception and knowing, you commonly will see the first person singular call perfect is what this is, yadati, as saying, I know this I know. Okay? Although you can, it can mean this I knew, this I have known, this, and sometimes I think maybe this will think this I have known, that Elohim, God, li. That's lamed and the herik yod. So this is the inseparable prefix, a preposition, inseparable preposition, plus the personal, the pronomial suffix, for me, to me, this I know, ki, that, because, or this I know because, this is I know that, God is for me. Actually, you can even say God is mine. You will learn that this is a way that actually can express possession other than the contract form. But probably best to say, this I know, or this I have known, that God is mine, is for me, is for me. Okay. Now, Bayom Hahu Karat Adonai et Avram Berit Leomer, Lemor, not Leomer, Lemor. And here it is saying, that's the one thing they give you, okay, that is often, it's almost practically like lemor, you'll see a lot, and it is just literally means saying, and you'll learn about that is actually an infinitive, but it's almost like quotation marks, okay, so by yom hahu, yom hahu, karat Adonai et Avram berit lemor, Lazaracha, Lazaracha, and I think that's right. Lazaracha, not Nazaracha, Lazaracha. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Check with Suzanne about that. Lezaracha natati et haaretz hazut. Okay, et haaretz hazut natati. Okay. Now this one, ba yom. So this is here is the inseparable preposition bait, in with, against. Here we see that it has a patak and it has a dagesh forte, so that doubles that yom. So therefore we know that this is definite. So in the day, and then we also see the definiteness here, ha hu, and in that day, that is he, who is he. Remember, me is who is he, and he is she. So that is masculine singular. And instead of he here, it is, though, an adjective. It is the demonstrative adjective in that day. Karat. Okay, just remember this. Karat barit. Brit is the word for covenant. Okay. And karat means actually to cut off or to cut up, to cut off, actually. That's literally what it means, but it always is the word. It's like an idiom. To make a covenant is to karat brit. Okay. So karat brit makes a covenant, but it isn't makes a covenant. Comets, comets, patak, call perfect, third masculine singular. What's the subject? Adonai. Okay. Adonai karat. And I don't know why that is. Susanna can tell you. It is takes the with whom you make the covenant takes the direct object marker. So hit Avram, okay, Abram. So in that day, God, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham. We'd have to say Abram. We'd have to say that. Lemor, saying, Lazaracha. I'm sure that's pronounced at the end, but you know what? I may be wrong about that. So check with Suzanne about that. It could be, but that is Zerah, seed, descendants. Okay. So we have two. There's that inseparable preposition. There's the cha, that is the second masculine singular pronominal suffix. So to your seed. Natati. Okay. Now the verb is natan. I think you are taught that in this one. So it is nun tav nun, natan. But as it says in the book, okay, that when you add tav endings like t and gadalta, like ta and ta, so that we have the second and masculine singular, second and feminine singular, the first common singular. And when you add a tav, what ends up happening with the nun? This happens all the time. Get used to this, okay? A nun is kind of a nun is a shaky letter in Hebrew. It always just doesn't want to sit by itself. So when it can, it will assimilate. And there, how do we know it's assimilated? Dagesh forte. So it's natati. It's not natandi. We don't do that. Natandi, it's natati. So I have given, saying, I have given to your descendants, your seed, et haaretz hazot, this land. There's the definite article marker, and now the direct object marker, et hazot, haaretz. Yes, okay. And there's all kinds of reasons why that is. Okay. So in that day, the Lord made, third person singular, third masculine singular, call perfect, with Abram, a covenant, saying, I have given to your descendants this land. All right. All right. We've seen this again. Here we are. Natati. Lefanecha. Lefanecha hayom et ha'chaim. Et ha'chaim va'et hatof va'et ha'mavet va'et hara. Okay. So we just saw that. There's our verb, and then we have all this stuff that God has given. Okay. I have given, I gave, I set. It also means to kind of set, to put. It's kind of, because I think it probably means better here, because lifnei, remember that's before. Okay. Lifnecha is before you, where cha is the second masculine singular pronominal suffix. So I have set before you. You attach it to the preposition lifnei. I have set before you hayom. Today, the day hayom. I know. Maybe Suzanne has told you is oftentimes really today. This day, today. I have set before you today. Et hachayim. Chayim is the word for life. I've set before you, it's like the life, but probably here it's kind of an abstract now, like kind of a general. So you'd say, I've set before you life, va'et hatov, that which is good. I've set before you life and goodness. Okay, va'et mavet, va'et hara, and death and evil, corruption, badness. Okay. So I have set, or I've given before you this day, today, life and goodness and death and evil, corruption, badness. Okay. All right, and I can't remember what that's about, but it makes sense, I'm sure, in Deuteronomy. And then finally, okay, key. There should be, you know what? Kavda. I don't know if there should be a method there. No, I'd have to kind of check that. And the reason I'm a little funny, I'll tell you in just a minute, okay? But we're gonna say kavda. Yeah, chavada, because there's no like it's the beginning after a vowel. So chavada, he chavada, ha avoda, he kavada, ha avoda, al ha'am hazeh. Okay. Now, this is a clause that comes out of Nehemiah, and actually, I think it's talking about what has happened in the past to the children of Israel. So, because, okay, now, chavada. Okay, so if you see this, here's chavada, and that is kaved. That is usually the little lexical form is with a kametz and a tzere, because this is a stative verb. Okay, kaved is also means heavy. Okay, and so when a stative verb, it is basically the difference is an adjective, kind of in Hebrew, can be verbish, and it's usually is heavy, or here was heavy, has been heavy, was heavy, and it is. There is the kametz, hey at the end. So we know that that is a third person feminine singular. Okay. Okay, when you see that kametz, hey at the end with a verb like that. So this is a feminine verb, and so it must have a feminine subject, and it does. Avodah, the work, it's the labor, really kind of more than just work, the labor. Because the labor was heavy. or you prime the burden. The burden was heavy. Al ha'am hazeh, on this people, upon this people, because the work, the labor was heavy. It's or yeah, um, and because it's called perfect, so it is a completed action, has been heavy, has been great, and it is feminine. So comments, hey, that's why I think this is kavada. But what makes me a little worried about that is that, of course, this was a stative verb and they can get a little funny. So Susanna will correct me if, if I'm wrong. It could be kovda, but I think it's kavada. So ki kavada ha avoda al ha'am hazeh, right? I hope this is helpful. Again, as Miles Van Pelt, he's an interesting guy. If you ever see him or see any of his videos, he's kind of looks like he's like your Hebrew teacher and your gym teacher. You know, okay, and he's like the wrestling coach after school. He's like, and he's like, oh, he says, you've got to learn this like a robot. And he's right though. If you learn the call perfect of katal, and you learn the call imperfect, which we should guys will be doing later, like a robot, it'll be well worth it. Hope this is helpful. Take care, guys. Bye bye.